They say some houses breathe, and others, they remember. My name is Alex Grant. I've spent the last 12 years investigating the paranormal. Most of the time, I find nothing more than creaky pipes and cold drafts. But in 2018, I got a call that led me to the most disturbing case of my career. A house buried in the remote countryside of Yorkshire, England. A house that should never have been built. Crowsmore Lane. The report came from a local historian, Eleanor Frey. She'd been researching land records when she stumbled upon something strange. A property listed as condemned hazardous for entry with no recorded demolition. It just vanished from city documents in 1998. But Eleanor found something else. A series of 911 calls, all from the same night, all from the same address 17 Crowsmore Lane. The family that lived there the Whitlocks had simply vanished. No bodies. No signs of forced entry. Just a house, locked from the inside, with dinner still on the table and a VHS camcorder half recorded. I had to see it for myself. I arrived in Crowsmore in the dead of winter. The lane itself was barely marked on modern maps, overgrown with brambles and thick mist. The locals wouldn't talk about it. When I asked about the Whitlocks, the barkeep at the village pub went pale. "Don't go there," he said, his voice like gravel. That house eats memories. I didn't know what he meant then, but I would. The house stood at the edge of a forgotten field. Stone walls, ivy-choked windows, and a rusted gate with a hand-painted sign, "Do not enter ever." Naturally, I did. Inside, time had frozen. Dust blanketed everything, yet the smell of roast beef and herbs lingered in the air. A table was set for 4. David Whitlock, his wife Marion, and their 2 daughters, Lily and Hannah. Plates still had half-eaten food. The TV played static. And on the couch, the camcorder? I pressed play. December 12th, 1997. David Whitlock recording. This is just in case. His voice trembled. Behind him, Marion peeked out the curtains, clutching a rosary. "It started last week," he continued. "Lily says she's been talking to a girl in the walls. We thought it was an imaginary friend, until we saw her." He turned to the camera. There, in the corner of the room, stood a faint outline. A small figure. Smiling. The tape cut to black. Then static. Then screaming. I stayed in the house that night. Foolish, maybe, but I had to know. I set up EVP recorders, thermal cams, motion sensors. All standard procedure. Nothing happened for hours. Until 2:33 a.m. A child's voice on the EVP. "I can see you, Alex." I froze. No one knew I was here. My phone was off. There was no internet, no cell reception. Then the smell hit sweet and rotting, like fruit left too long in the sun. The camcorder clicked on by itself and recorded me sleeping. The next morning, I found my name scratched into the bedroom mirror backwards. My files were gone. My notes, my equipment, erased. I drove into town to regroup, only to find that Eleanor Frey, the historian who contacted me, was missing. Her home ransacked, laptop smashed. But her last printed note lay on the floor. 17 Crowsmore Lane was built on a plague pit, hundreds buried. Records say the bodies were never properly sanctified. One name repeats, Elsbeth Holloway, A.A. Child executed for witchcraft in 1642. Age, 9. N. That was the girl in the footage. I returned that night. I know. I was obsessed. I went deeper into the basement. Behind a fake wall, I found a crawl space filled with old children's toys, arranged in a circle. In the center, a music box. Still playing? When I opened it, the lid snapped shut on my hand, drawing blood. And then, the house came alive. Whispers in every room. Footsteps behind me. Laughter inside the walls. And the worst of it? Every reflection I saw wasn't me. It was David Whitlock. Aged, broken, screaming, silently. The last room I entered was Hannah's. Her diary lay open on the bed. Daddy told the girl to leave. She said, "You leave." Mommy cried. Lily went into the walls. I saw her today. She says they're happy now. She says I will be too. The door slammed shut. I don't remember how I got out. The next thing I knew, I was back at the pub, covered in dust and scratches. The barkeep didn't say a word, just handed me a shot of whiskey and nodded. I never published the footage. Until now. Because someone else found the house last month. A group of teenagers exploring urban legends. Only one came back. Babbling nonsense, eyes black as coal. She drew me a picture of the little girl. She lives in the cracks, she whispered. She's waiting. And now, if you've watched this far, she knows you too. Don't look at your reflection tonight. You might see her smiling back. I never believed in ghosts. Not really. I'd laugh at the thought of haunted towns and cursed soil. But that was before I was sent to Stonemire. Now I know some places are alive, and they don't like strangers. My name is Clara Whitmore. I was sent to Stonemire to write a cultural preservation report. Population 218. Located deep in the Appalachian backwoods, it's not on any proper map. Just a name whispered between overgrown trees and rusting road signs. I arrived late in October. Leaves were dying, air turning crisp. The town appeared out of nowhere, nestled in fog. Its main street looked like it hadn't seen movement in years. Not a single car, not a single pedestrian. But the buildings, they looked pristine. Not new. Preserved. Like someone or something was keeping them that way. Bien was waiting. The Marlowe house. Its lights flickered on as I approached, like it had been expecting me. Inside stood the innkeeper, a woman in her 70s named Edith. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Clara Whitmore," she said before I introduced myself. "Room 3 is ready?" I blinked. "How did you... We've always known who's coming." I should have left right then. Room 3 overlooked the town square. A statue stood in the center, a cloaked figure with a wide, toothless smile. No plaque. No history. That night, I heard whispers through the vent. First, it was my name. "Clara?" Then it was phrases. "Don't sleep with the window open." "The woods are hungry. We see you." I dismissed it as wind. Maybe Edith left the radio on. But in the morning, there were footprints under my window. Bare feet. Human. Leading to the forest line. The townsfolk were kind, but stiff. Smiles were forced. Eyes lingered too long. I asked them about the statue. Nobody answered. "Old town thing?" one said. "Doesn't matter anymore?" said another. The children were the strangest. They never played. They only watched. Every day, standing still as gravestones. On the third day, I interviewed Edith. Her hands trembled as she poured tea. We were a coal town, she said. Long before you were born. Miners uncovered something down there. Not coal, not fossils, just dark. What do you mean dark? I asked. Her eyes glazed over. They called it the root, said it whispered to them, made them see things. Then the accidents began. Men crushed under invisible weight, fires with no flames, screams echoing up from empty shafts. She looked at me then, desperate. The town made a pact. We feed it stories. Keep it entertained. That's why you're here. What? She leaned closer. It likes new blood, especially ones who listen too closely. That night, I recorded audio in my room. Hours of silence until 2:17 a.m. A voice. Come down to the mine, Clara. We left something for you. I didn't remember getting up, but I woke in the woods, barefoot, standing before an old lift shaft, long sealed with rusted chains. They were broken. Inside, a light glowed faintly. I went back to the inn. Edith was gone. Room 3 was cleaned out, like I'd never been there. I tried to leave. My car wouldn't start. My phone showed no service, no battery even when it was plugged in. I ran to the edge of town. Forest. Endless. But no road. No signs. Only the children. Lined up at the tree line, watching. I confronted the mayor the next day. He smiled warmly. You're part of us now, he said. And we'll make you comfortable. In time, the dreams will feel like memories. And the memories, like roots. I asked what that meant. He didn't answer. That night, I dreamt I was underground, crawling through a tunnel, the walls pulsing like veins. Ahead of me, a figure waited, cloaked, smiling. You wrote our story, it said. Now you live in it. I woke in a cold sweat. My fingernails were filled with dirt. I gave up fighting. I tried blending in. I smiled back, took notes, ate their food, but I knew I was changing. One day I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize myself. My eyes were too wide, my teeth sharpened. I was becoming them. On my final night, the townspeople gathered in the square. A celebration. Bonfires and dancing. They pulled me into the center. You've been chosen, said Edith, suddenly young again. The root is ready for its next tale. I tried to run. The children blocked my way. The statue cracked open. From within, a figure stepped out, cloaked, grinning. It whispered in my ear, "Finish the story." I screamed. Then everything went dark. I'm not sure how long it's been, but I'm still here, trapped in Stonemire. I write this so someone knows. So someone might listen. But be careful, because if you're hearing this, the town knows your name now, and it's hungry for the next chapter. Never trust a place that doesn't exist on a map, and never fall asleep in a town that watches you dream.